Hey guys, welcome back. We are talking Netflix picks. The big drops this week are The Umbrella Academy, You Complete Me Ho. We've got our top 3 upcoming releases and news all coming up right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, that's just like I want the... I was made for loving you, babe. Oh, wait, never mind. We're not talking Kiss, but you were at Kiss yesterday.
Yeah. Feel free to check that out on my stuff.
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome back. You are watching Netflix Picks, where every week we tell you what is being released on the Netflix platform. And I'm Rick Hong. And on the other side of the table, I have Amy Cassandra Martinez.
Hello, that's me. I'm in the chat, so join us there too, please. Thank you.
Yeah, we got a lot going on this week because we don't have Steve Kaufmann or Ashley Chaney, but they'll be back next week or thereabouts, something like that.
Yeah, we've never done just a show, just the two of us.
Yep.
So this is a first.
No special. So we're just going to talk a lot of Netflix stuff. And to right now, I'm going to talk some Netflix originals, film and television. The first one for television, the big anticipated, was The Umbrella Academy. And Amy, I think you watched.
I did.
How many episodes did you watch?
Almost all of the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
Pilot.
I've seen almost 3 episodes.
Okay.
And I wanted to know what you think.
So, okay. So I started watching it, and I knew that Gerard Way was the one that was in charge of like the whole concept and idea, like everything. From
So
My Chemical
guys,
Romance.
Gerard Way is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. This is based on his, graphic novel, comic book.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so that already I was like, okay, I'm curious. It starts off really interesting. It certainly piqued my interest, but I don't know. Somewhere along the whole episode, I just kind of was like, all right,
You're not
cool.
sold, are you?
I'm not sold. I don't know, but there are certain things where I'm like, these people really stand out. Ellen Page, I love her, so I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I think it's one of those that if I had all the time in the world, I would most definitely revisit, but I don't know. I'm not like, I need to binge this. But
I'm kind of in your camp. I watched the first episode because that's what we should always do is at least watch the first episode, kind of get our thoughts. But it didn't really engage me, but I just kept the TV going.
Yeah.
So then it went into the second episode. And then I think somewhere in the middle of the third is where I was like, you know what? My interest seemed to lie elsewhere tonight. I want to watch something else. And so I wasn't quite sold on The Umbrella Academy. And I know that like this is kind of their big release for this week, this month. I mean, it's kind of been anticipated kind of in our world of people wanting to see this, like the carpet and doing a press junket. Our own Yale Teagle went to a press junket and talked to a lot of the cast. So if you guys go to AfterBuzz Red Carpets, she's on there talking to them to get a little bit more insight about it. But I kind of feel like you do too. Yeah, it has Ellen Page.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sold on this one.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know that there was a lot of people really pumped about it on Twitter. So I think it's just not our thing right now. I don't know. And maybe in a month I might try it again and see. But it's also like I'm a huge Marvel person. Like that's not a secret. So I think that when I think of superheroes, that's what I think of. But this kind of does give me X-Men vibes. Which is like, okay, well, cool. It's just not something that I'm like,
so guys, it's
interested in.
based on like this guy who adopts these 7 children who seem to just kind of appear out of nowhere. Like these women get pregnant with these kids, and like each kid kind of has like a supernatural ability, power. Except for one that we know of so far. And so it's the stories about the first 7. Granted, in the world and this world, there's actually 43. So I'm imagining that either comes out if it gets picked up for a season 2 or later on in the later episodes, that part of it gets more explained. And so it's very like X-Men. And I don't know if maybe it's too saturated. Like we've seen so much of everybody's with like these like special abilities where it's the Gifted, the Runaways.
Yeah.
I actually
Cloak and
felt,
Dagger.
For me, this felt like NBC's Heroes meets Netflix's series of unfortunate events. kind of if you mash the tone of series of unfortunate events and then you mash the world of Heroes when it was on NBC, that's kind of like what I get. So I kind of felt like I've been through this type of a story, this type of a show. I think it's why like it didn't really pique my interest as much as it could have if all those other shows didn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I know Jay Becker in the chat says they're almost done with episode 5. So, I mean, it's certainly piquing other people's interest. But yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to know exactly where the storyline goes, but then what's the point of watching it, right? I feel like we just have to watch it and see along what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure Steve Kaufmann might will have, like, if he comes back, when he comes back, sorry.
Whoa, what have you done with him?
When he comes back, he might have some more insight. I'm sure he'll have watched. But guys, this is 10 episodes. Each episode is almost like an hour.
Yeah.
So you got to have 10 hours of your time to dedicate to it. So
yeah, it looks gorgeous. I do have to say that. And, you know, the characters or the actors do a really good job. So if you're looking for something that looks beautiful and gives you, you know, X many vibes, then this is it for sure.
So the next thing that I watched, I woke up Valentine's morning and I watched this because this was the release, is You Complete Me, Ho! And it's Ken Jeong's comedy special. And I said this last week, and I'm saying it this week. The reason it's called You Complete Me, Ho! There's a whole joke inside of the episode, but his wife's name is Tran Ho. She's now Tran Jeong. So there's a whole theme about the ho part and not necessarily how you would derogatory call the woman a ho versus like the actual name ho. But this is like an hour. And, you know, he chronicles kind of his whole time, like, doing comedy in terms of, like, you know, his breaks, like, with, like, The Hangover and him, you know, being a professional medical doctor and turning into comedy and talking about how his father was, you know, very disapproving of him being a comedian. But then once he became big after The Hangover, his dad was like, hey, when are you going to buy me a Mercedes? So I mean
that's cool.
Yeah. So here's some really, really fun facts. If you watch the show and you look to the right of the screen, I would have been in that front row. My friend had tickets. I would have been in the front row because my friend is there the whole time, sitting there with his wife, and his cousin actually gets talked to for a little bit. So like, I had an opportunity, but instead his cousin decided to invite her friend, so I didn't get my opportunity to be on a Netflix special. So instead, I'm doing Netflix picks.
Oh, that's okay. Next time.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah, just be like, yo, Ken, hook me up.
Yeah, so I mean, my big thing is that, like, if you are a fan of Ken Jeong, you know, you want to know a little bit more about him, see what his comedy's about, it's on there for you. And I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I love Ken. Like, I've known him for a long time, and so yeah, that was on there. And then, Amy, you watched Nailed It Mexico.
Yes, I did. So this popped up, I think, last week. And I was like, I don't know about that. But I gave it a try, actually, today. And it's exactly like Nailed It, but just in Spanish. And I have to say that I like this more than the Nailed It in English. It's the same exact idea. I think they have a little bit more fun with it.
Are they speaking in Spanish?
Yeah.
And then you were watching with English subtitles, or you could just understand the whole thing?
Well, I just understood the whole thing.
So if I was watching, I would have to watch it with English subtitles.
With English subtitles,
okay,
yeah.
Great.
But
what do you think makes it a little different?
You know, I feel like as a Hispanic woman, I think Latinx. Okay, sure. I just think when we go, you know, like farcical, if that makes sense, we go all out. And I think that this really helps the show because it's not like a super serious kind of show. I mean, this is literally people that don't know how to make something and they just do their best, and it's just very comical. And I think that the fact that we can just kind of laugh while doing it and just kind of be ridiculous about it, I think that really helps. And I don't know, it was just so much more fun and like laid back. They weren't trying too hard. It was just goofy and it just came naturally. But yeah, it's the same kind of idea. There's like 2, 4, 6 episodes. They only have one season. Each one's about 32 minutes. So super easily bingeable. Obviously, Spanish speakers, I think you should definitely watch this. If you don't speak Spanish, I think it would be a fun way to watch something different. You know, I I feel like growing up, I used to not really pay attention to foreign language films or anything in a foreign language because it'd be like, oh,
Because you have to read subtitles?
Yeah. So, and I just kind of took it for granted that I could understand 2 languages. But I think that we should all definitely expand our horizons. And the fact that we can watch Nailed It Mexico is really cool. You know, we've got Roma. You can watch that too. I don't know. I really like this. And I know I talked about another show before that it was, you know, in Mexico, and I like that we're getting these stories because I'm like, this is what I grew up with, and now you guys get to see it too.
So it nailed it's like not doing manicures, but it's
No, it's like baking. Oh, if you could call it baking, if it's not fully baked. But yeah, these 3 horrible sort of kind of bakers are trying to recreate this, you know, whatever they have to do during the challenge. There's 2 or 3 challenges. 3 challenges.
So basically, it would be like me
pretty much
going into a kitchen and trying to bake anything other than Toll House chocolate chip cookies that I can just throw in the oven.
True. And you know what, though? They have directions. So it's like they have all the help they can, you know, get. But there was even this one time in this episode where one of the people that won the first challenge, they could, their like not immunity, but their special prize thing was to get the main host to distract any other competitor. And so like distracting, I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, literally, he went to the girl and was just like being super weird, like making dragon noises, and she was trying to work and focus. And
So
you're like,
do you
this
think
is so
that's
weird.
what made the show for you, though? Maybe like that, just kind of the outlandishness, kind of distracting? Because like, they probably don't do that in the American version or the other
I mean,
versions.
it's feels forced. In the American version,
okay.
it's like very scripted.
So that's a little annoying.
That's what it is. And I feel like this just felt so natural. Where I was like, yeah, like just be a goofball. You don't need to script that out, you know? So yeah, I think that was it. And it just, I don't know. Maybe it reminded me of living in Mexico a little because it's like everyone speaking Spanish around you, being goofballs. Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, I would definitely recommend like you watch it and let me know.
I'm gonna make Ashley Chaney watch it and
Okay.
see what she thinks in terms of the variation, so she can explain it from her perspective,
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
white chick. So
She's amazing. I feel like she would be very open-minded to it.
absolutely.
Hopefully.
Well, okay, so I talked about something that dropped on Valentine's Day, and it is the week of Valentine's Day, and Netflix is getting into their own dating game reality show.
What? Stop.
Yes.
What?
So a big show here at AfterBuzz TV is The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
Yep.
So Netflix had a series, half hour, that they decided to drop, and it's called Dating Around. Oh, yeah. And it was, I gotta say, I haven't finished watching the whole thing, but I watched different episodes. I really enjoyed watching this. So here is the premise. The
Okay.
premise is that you take one person, the person goes on 5 blind dates. Now,
I love it already.
yeah. So what's interesting is that like to make things consistent, they go to the same restaurant, and they also make the person dress in the same attire.
Okay.
And so then what they do is they intercut in between the different dates of who the person meets. So the first person is this guy, and he meets like 5 different women.
Okay.
And so like, so then the conversations, like the typical dating conversations. And like when you're watching, that's what makes it cool. Because I mean, this is why it's kind of the dating thing, is you're always trying to figure out who you think the person matches up with, or when they blow the opportunity in the date, saying like, oh, this is where it takes like a wrong turn. And so I had a good time. So like the first one is about this, like straight guy dates 5 women.
Okay.
And I could tell kind of who I thought that he was jiving with. And then at the very end of it, then you see like who he actually picks for like a second date. Uh-huh. And so like that's like one of them. Another episode are I think like there's a gay guy, so he goes on a date with a bunch of people. I haven't seen that one yet. There is right here, there's a girl, she's a little bit older, she's like 36. So she goes on a bunch of different dates, and she is a divorcee. So she talks about that on her dates. And then there's my favorite one is this brunette. Her name is Sarah. I think it's episode 4, episode 5. That one's like the real juicy one.
Why?
Because she is cute. She's cute. She's outgoing, but there's certain things with her personality that I don't think match up with some of these guys. So there's like a lot of like twists and turns that happen on the different dates that really like, I would definitely say like maybe even start with that one if you really want to get invested. So, but yeah, 30 minutes. And I think it's like 5 or 6 episodes. I recommend it. I recommend because there's got to be at least one of those episodes. Just read the summaries where like you kind of relate to somebody, but just sitting there with the guessing game is kind of fun. And it's over. It's like 30 minutes of your time and it's over. It's not like The Bachelor where it's dragged out over.
I used to really love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. But yeah, it does take forever. There's something about watching two people on a date and just being kind of like a fly in the wall and seeing like, oh, you shouldn't have said that, or like, oh, look at how he's looking at her, or whatever. And I love that. I'm curious to see if they're gonna. I feel like they were testing this out for Valentine's Day and just kind of seeing, because I don't remember Netflix ever really doing anything like that for Valentine's Day.
I mean, they're not really in the reality dating stuff yet either.
Yeah.
This is kind of new programming for them. And I think it's good. So yeah, it's a definite recommend for me. And like I said, the Sarah episode is my favorite.
Now I'm wondering, like, what do you mean? Like, what's up with her?
You just gotta watch it. You guys just gotta watch it. I mean, next week or whenever you guys get to it, chime in and talk about it because I'll gladly talk about it. I don't even know. Like, I was thinking like we could almost just have like a one-off here at AfterBuzz about that. But okay, so it's interesting because another Netflix original that I watched. This is a little bit ago. It's like a few weeks ago. It was called IO, and Netflix is in this game of these end of the world type movies, and they all seem to fall flat. So one of the first ones that I watched was called I did it I don't know how many episodes ago, but it was Theo James Forrest Whitaker. It was called How It Ends. It was awful, and this one IO is Margaret Qualley, and it's Anthony Mackie.
Hey!
Falcon. So you'd think that'd be really, really good, but same thing, it falls short. It's like this end of the world where society is dead and, Margaret Qualley's like this like scientist and everybody's going to Mars, but she kind of refuses to go because she thinks that she can like kind of get life and like plants and things and food growing again. So she sticks around, and then Anthony Mackie shows up. And the major problem with these types of movies, or at least with this one, is like there's nothing at stake. Okay. There's no evil presence, or there's no kind of like real time constraint where you feel like, oh my gosh, it's like the world is gonna blow up in a certain amount of time, or there's this evil thing that's coming to where like, oh, you got to get out of Earth. Yeah. Or this big hope of like, wow, if you do this, then you save the planet. Like that, there is none of that in this movie.
No time constraints either, because it's like it already ended, so now you're just trying.
And you basically want this movie to end.
Oh, so that sucks. What is IO? What does that mean?
Io is so like Jupiter. So Jupiter has a bunch of moons, and where people leave Earth is they go to Io, which is one of the moons like where like it's like the next inhabitable place for the people of Earth to go. Oh. So that's what Io stands for.
I mean, okay.
So it's a pass. That's why it's been a few weeks. But since we had time, because there isn't anybody else on the because we don't have Ashley and Steve on the panel, I figured I'll take a little bit of time and talk about it to say hey, or like nobody's really like popped up in our world to say, hey, have you guys talked about IO? Have you seen it? Will you guys review it? No one's really done that either. So that's a pass.
We'll save you some time too.
And finally, Netflix originals television series, same thing. I think Steve talked about this one a while ago. I had a friend of mine tell me to watch The Kominsky Method, which is Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin. And this is from creator Chuck Lorre, who did The Big Bang Theory, who did 2.5 Men. And it's kind of catered towards the older Netflix audience, I believe, like Grace and Frankie.
I mean, Grace and Frankie's amazing, but
so it's kind of like that audience kind of caters towards them. I mean, they're both really good in it, half-hour episodes. It wasn't quite for me. Like it wasn't awful, but with just so much stuff there, I wanted to give it a chance. So like I watched like 2 episodes, and I think kind of like in the next episode, I kind of let it go.
Yeah, I realize I don't think I really like his stuff.
Chuck Lorre.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Big Bang person.
I mean, and I think that's my thing. It's like I really like The Big Bang Theory, but everything else that he's kind of done or whatever, it doesn't quite resonate with me. But this show is kind of almost a version of the show Barry.
Oh, Barry's fun.
That's on HBO.
Yeah.
But except without the assassin part, it's just like Michael Douglas is
Well,
his
that's the
acting
fun
coach. Yeah, and so like Michael Douglas is acting coach, and Alan Arkin is like his best friend / like agent, and I think that's kind of like, and it's just kind of like just their friendship. Whereas like, and like, but the same thing, it's like but in the world of like acting and actors and trying to like, hence the Kaminsky method. But that's why I also couldn't get into Barry.
Okay.
Because like I just don't, that whole like being an actor, even though the Barry has like a whole assassin part of it, it didn't work. It doesn't really work for me. So
yeah, I mean, it's certainly a different kind of story. I feel I'm glad that we have so many different kinds of shows for Netflix viewers that it's like you literally will be able to find something that you love on Netflix. Not sponsored, but we just love Netflix.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, there's something you guys can do for us, and Amy Cassandra Martinez is going to talk about it.
Yeah, well, so before we move on to our next topic, we did just want to say thank you so much to all of you viewers for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. Now, for us to continue to grow, we would really appreciate if you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You're already watching us, or heck, if you're listening to us, make sure to rate us, give us 5 stars on iTunes, leave us a comment because we read them and we really would appreciate your feedback. We love getting to talk about TV shows and everything that we enjoy watching on Netflix. So you make it more enjoyable for us to have a conversation with you. So just make sure to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, all that jazz, and we really appreciate it.
And regular releases on Netflix. Amy is in a whole Oscar kick because the Oscars are next week. Ooh. So she watched The Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
Now, had you ever seen it before?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, so you're revisiting it because it's on there.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that Netflix is doing this thing where, we do have a good chunk of previously nominated Oscar nominated movies.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, right now I am making my way through current ones, and it's nice to see which ones were nominated in the past too. Silver Linings Playbook, it's with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, and they're both freaking rock
Robert
stars.
De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Bobby De Niro, yes.
There's dancing, there's drama. I really want to say that this is one of my favorite roles Bradley Cooper has ever done. I think there's
not Aloha. I thought he was amazing in Aloha.
I didn't even try to watch that one. I should,
no, it is awful.
Okay.
I mean, Emma Stone playing an Asian woman says it alone.
Did you hear though? What was it? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she apologized on the Golden Globes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Emmys.
Yeah.
Oh, Golden Globes.
Golden
Globes.
Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is one of his better roles. I think that sometimes he just kind of got gypped in the past, but I think this was one of the first ones where I was like, Bradley Cooper, good for you.
And he's nominated for, or like a bunch of, I don't know if he's nominated, but a bunch of people for him for A Star is Born that he directed.
So, but he's not. And that was a whole conversation with this year's Oscars that people felt he was snubbed. But
Sam Elliott, Lady Gaga, Song,
Shallow.
Picture.
Yeah.
But not Best Director, not Best Actor.
Right.
Keep going.
But yeah, so Jennifer Lawrence is also really good. I think this movie, it is a rom-com, I would say, but there's a little bit more drama in there. But what I love about it is that there is dancing. I just gotta say that, like, it's different. It's dark, but there's dancing. There's Robert De Niro. I don't know what else to say.
And it has a happy ending. So like,
it does have a happy ending.
It has a happy ending. I liked it.
Yeah. It is one of those that I don't really rewatch as much as I should because I love it so much. But yeah, always recommend that one. I like rewatching good movies that I know I will like.
So, well, I had some time and I watched Chappaquiddick.
That's fun to say.
Yeah, Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick.
So if you're not familiar, the Kennedys had 4 brothers, and the oldest brother died in World War II. John F. Kennedy Jr. was assassinated. Mm-hmm. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. They had a youngest brother named Ted Kennedy. And Ted Kennedy lived for a long time, and right around the time that he was maybe going to run for president after both brothers were killed, he got into a car accident. And he really bumbled kind of reporting what happened. And so Chappaquiddick is a place in Massachusetts where the event happened, and it kind of tainted his, if he tried, like he eventually did try to run in the 80s for president. He lost to Jimmy Carter. Aww. But this kind of tells like the tale of kind of like what happened and how they tried to do like, I mean, this is a movie. So maybe in theory, like how they tried to do damage control. Cause he was with Bobby Kennedy's like secretary. Bobby Kennedy's long gone, but this woman like had been a secretary, and they had apparently maybe had been partying a little bit. He was in the car. He drives off a bridge, and he fails to kind of like go try to pull her out. She dies. He reports the incident 10 hours later.
What?
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see how like the whole thing unravels. But I honestly would say just go read about it. It's better to read about it than actually like having to sit there and watch what happens.
What was it? Was it the acting? Was it the plot? I mean, the plot, it's like real life, or sort of based off of real life. They're going to take some liberties. What was wrong with it?
It had good actors. It had Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke plays Ted Kennedy. Ed Helms plays a cousin.
Hey.
What's really great is Jim Gaffigan, the comedian, plays a dramatic role in this.
I like that.
But and Bruce Dern plays like the elder Kennedy.
Oh.
So, but yeah, it just kind of falls short. So I'd almost just say just go to Wikipedia, read about it, and then pass. But I really wanted to. I was really curious about this. I really wanted to watch it, and it just didn't work for me. It's like an hour and a half. So.
Oh wow. So it's your rule then, the 90-minute thing.
Well, no, because I figured for a story like this, it could play out a bit longer.
Okay. Do you think they rushed it then?
No, I didn't feel that, but it already felt long at an hour and a half.
Yikes.
So.
All right. Well, don't watch Chappaquiddick, but watch Silver Linings Playbook.
All right. Well, Amy, our fans can do something else too.
You guys can make sure to rate us, like I said earlier, because you can always rate us some more. And leave us some more comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, listen to us on Spotify, all of that jazz, because we would really, really, really appreciate it from you guys.
Give us 5 stars.
Just 5, because, you love us. And Netflix.
And finally, hidden gems. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but...
Why? Wait, is it yours? Because I could talk forever about mine.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Amy, you go first.
Okay.
Because mine are quick.
Okay. So mine is Monster-in-Law. I have seen this before. I feel like I've even talked about it before. But every now and then it just comes back up on like, hey, Amy, you might want to watch this one again. And I'm like, okay,
This
Netflix.
is Jane Fonda, right?
This is Jane freaking Fonda. Yes. And Jennifer Lopez and Michael Vartan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Vartan. I have to say, this is maybe my second favorite role of his. I love him in Never Been Kissed. It's amazing.
I'm not Josie Grossi anymore.
You're not Josie Grossi anymore. This is true. Yeah, so good. But yeah, Monster-in-Law, pretty much what it sounds like if you've never seen it. Jane Fonda plays a scary mother-in-law, and it's really interesting to see just everything that her character and Jennifer Lopez's character go through while they're planning their wedding, like, her wedding with Michael Vartan. It's fun. There's some wedding stuff, and I love me a good J-Lo rom-com wedding movie. It's up there. But yeah, it's one of those that you can easily rewatch, have fun with, and it's just beautiful. I love it. It's fun.
All right, well, hidden gems. So something that's been coming out soon. I mean, granted, it won't be on Netflix, but if you guys like Jordan Peele.
Oh, yes, I do.
He is recreating The Twilight Zone. And you're going to have to go get a different subscription to watch that. However, if you want the inspiration, if you want the inspiration of The Twilight Zone, many, many seasons, I believe all the seasons are not even half hour. They're probably like 20-some minutes. Rod Serling, the great Rod Serling, created by... They're all on there, and I recommend just kind of sift through, read the summaries, and like if something resonates for you, then hit play. I would say the hardest thing for maybe some people is to watch, black and white, but the storytelling is still really, really, really spot on.
Yeah.
And you won't see it in widescreen; you'll see it in the 4:3 ratio.
I would say that puts you right into the Twilight Zone. It really puts you in the zone.
But yeah, there's so many like different good stories there. So that's like a hidden gem for me, is to say Twilight Zone is there. Watch it now before it drops, and you have to see all like the new different like the millennium versions of it, I guess. 21st century versions of the Twilight Zone. Also, Lucifer, the TV show, based on the DC comic, was on Fox for 3 seasons, and now it landed on Netflix. And it will have a 10-episode season 4 because it was saved by the fans. Hey. So I wanted to let you guys know that it exists also on Netflix. Watch it now, just before season 4, and it gives you plenty of time. And that's another hidden gem that I have.
Yeah, Lucifer's actually pretty fun. I saw a couple episodes, actually with my uncle when I went back to Texas over a year ago. He was like, "This is really good," and I was like, "Okay." And it was really, really fun. I think people are sleeping on Lucifer. Well, that sounds weird. They're not paying attention to Lucifer, and they should.
It has its fans. And then finally, The Sinner. The Sinner stars Jessica Biel. Steve Kaufmann talked about it. He was high on it. I managed to turn it on yesterday. I'm 2 episodes from finishing the season. It's
Really?
it's that good. Basically, she is a woman who hears like this crazy song at the beach, and she goes and stabs a guy. Bill Pullman is a detective trying to figure out why she did this.
What?
Yeah, 8 episodes, but about 45 minutes because it originally ran on USA. But I agree with Steve Kaufmann on this one. Definitely hidden gem. Watch it. And in news, okay. In news, so yeah, something that really made Netflix this show popular was Netflix. Breaking Bad.
Ooh.
So Breaking Bad is going to do a movie about the Aaron Paul character, and it's going to drop on Netflix first, then go to AMC.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I mean, it originally aired though on AMC.
And it became more popular because of Netflix and because the ability for people to binge it and catch up on it.
And re-watch it.
Amy Schumer gets a second comedy special.
Yeah.
And finally, one of Cassandra Martinez, not Amy Schumer, but Cassandra Martinez's favorite shows, Queer Eye, Season 3, is coming out next month, March 15th.
I'm so excited. I have a group chat with some of my friends, and I'm like, girls, guess what's coming back? So, yeah, I'm excited for them to come back and do stuff and help people.
So, you know, that weekend, Amy will be watching and talking all about it here on Netflix Picks. Maybe I'll try to catch up on the first 2.
Yes.
And finally, our top 3 upcoming releases. Paddleton, which stars Mark Duplass and Ray Romano. Which that's going to be the Netflix original film that's going to come out next weekend. Chef's Table, Volume 6. So I'm sure Ashley Chaney will be covering that. And another thing that Ashley Chaney should be covering is The Big Family Cooking Showdown Season 2.
That one sounds delicious. There's something about like family cooking that I'm already like, I'm there. Do you need someone to try some food? I'm right here. Hello, we're here. Invite us over. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for now. Amy Cassandra Martinez, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ, and also on the Popcorn Talk. I do a show. It's called Box Office Breakdown, so make sure to watch there too.
Hey guys, and I'm Rick Hong. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong. And stay tuned because in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be doing the One Day at a Time Season 3 after show right here on Netflix. So we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.